Dr. Mark Porterie of Port Arthur Independent School District and the Superintendent of Beaumont Independent School District, Dr. Shannon Allen. Guys, thank you and welcome to another edition of Knowledge is Power. Great. Hello. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, hello. Thank you, Mr. Renfro, for having us.
Yes, I want to make sure that we get everything out the way and inform all our listeners and viewers everywhere. What's the upcoming process on the fall 2020? In other words, we're turned back to school. I understand that the teachers and BISD and faculty members reports on tomorrow, and Dr. Portier, your group showed up on last Wednesday, right?
Correct. Yes.
Great. And so tell me where. Let's get started. I say, Dr. Allen, uh, uh, what is your biggest concern right now with the parents and the staff that by sharing?
You know, we have sent out various surveys. We're utilizing a tool called Thought Exchange right now, where we can dive deeper into getting more detailed feedback from our stakeholders. And I will share that regardless of the survey we've sent or the Thought Exchange we've put out for the community, the same recurring theme keeps coming up, and that is safety. And specifically that parents do not send their students to school if they are ill. I'll send out about 3 or 4 different surveys, and whenever the issue of health and safety comes about, or what is the biggest concern or the greatest concern or the number one concern from from our teachers and from other parents and other constituents, is that parents make certain that they follow the screening protocols. They self-screen, they screen their students, and that they do not send their children to school if they exhibit symptoms of COVID-19, for the protection of our teachers, for the protection of other students. You know, that has been a critical recurring theme, I will say, from the data that I've received from from our community. You know, our teachers, you know, this is a different time. This is a challenging time. It's scary for our staff members. And we want to make certain that everyone is doing their part. Everyone is following the rules, following the protocols, and not trying to circumvent the system to send a child to school, even though they know that that child may be exhibiting those symptoms. So that keeps occurring for us right now.
Dr. Portier, what are your protocols for safety right now going forward?
Well, once again, and I do agree with everything that Dr. Allen has said about do not send your children to school if they are exhibiting symptoms. And it goes along with our staff members as well. If you wake up in the morning and you're feeling ill, do not come to work. We understand what's going on. I think as recently we've heard more of students becoming ill with COVID than at the beginning. And that's coming on the heels of starting school. We're seeing, I think it was a place that opened, a school that opened this past week, and then there were 9 cases that occurred during that week, you know, and that was somewhere else, I think in Georgia somewhere. But it's happening. And then from my understanding, there's a new strand that's out that's hurting kids even more. So it is a concern. It's a concern, and we're just going to have to figure out how we become our brother's keeper. You know, we hear a lot of people say that wearing a mask is taking away my freedom. Well, you should have the freedom to take care of others. You know, you should want to take care of someone else, even if the mask is uncomfortable to you. If that helps someone else, then you need to wear it. So in the Port Arthur Independent School District, masks are required. It's not an option. And it's required for students and staff members. As Beaumont, we're coming back virtual for the first 4 weeks with the option of extending it another 4 weeks. And when teachers are in their rooms, if they choose to take their mask off when they're in their room, when no one else is in there, that's fine. But when they walk in the hall, when they get ready to stand up and walk in the hallways, then the mask should be on. You know, I've had to get used to wearing my mask, you know, and I'm going to do it. I have to be the model. But if it's going to help someone, then yes. And I appreciate when I walk up and someone has their mask on, because I'm wearing my mask to help them, and I expect them to wear their mask to help me. And if parents, we know I can't even imagine a parent thinking that it's okay to send their child to school feeling ill today. You know, we've had that in the past, and we know that we've had students that come to school sick for many, many years. But August 10th, 2020, I can't even imagine a parent thinking that it would be okay to send their child to school if their child feels it has any type of symptom, fever, not feeling well, or anything, with the possibility of infecting others.
Well, you know, I'm sorry, even though we have a delay, and I'm wondering if you stop talking.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, but I can move on from there. So let me ask you this: but let's talk about screening. Are they going to be screening at the front door, or every room going to have a screening?
Well, you know, we started off in the administration building with handheld thermometers, and that quickly got old. Okay, when you look at when we come back to school, there are many more. So we've placed infrared thermometers at the doors of all of our facilities, and the person in the front is monitoring those temperatures when you walk in. They have to stand at a certain place when they walk in, and it takes the temperature. If a staff member or student temperature is over 100, then we pull them aside and we conference with them, let them know your temperature is above normal. Sit down a minute, let's retake the temperature, and then we move forward with the process. But we do have temperature gauging all day long when they're walking in and out all day. Yes.
So your students are going to go to attend one-on-one school, right? You're not going to online.
No, they're online for the first 4 weeks.
Right, first 4 weeks.
Now they're due to come back September 14th. However, we're going to assess. We're going to look at the numbers, and if the numbers are too great or things are not where we feel comfortable, we're going to ask for the extension of the next 4 weeks, and then we're going to see what happens even then. You know, it may be, and I hope not, but there may be a case where we don't return fully until January after a vaccine. We don't know. You know, we're going to take this week by week, but the first thing, we're going to make sure that we're safe with our students and our staff members.
Dr. Allen, BISD is going to do similar to that, right?
You know, we are working with our health department, number one, just to kind of piggyback on what Dr. Porterie mentioned, with the possibility, first of all, we have already applied for that additional 4 weeks of transition if needed, but we are working in conjunction with the health department and monitoring the cases for us. You know, after we get past that first 4 weeks, if our cases are not on a downward trend with a 5% positivity rate or less, then that will cause us to continue with the virtual instruction of our students beyond those first 4 weeks. So, you know, again, this is something that's very new. We don't know what's going to happen, but I know that we're following the guidelines, the guidance that's issued by the Texas Education Agency, and we are working very, very closely with our local health departments. They are providing us with the necessary data to determine what the positivity rate is and the number of cases in our area. You know, we have screening protocols in place for our staff, as well as the expectation that our parents will screen students. We will make certain all students are screened before they arrive, you know, on campus. And we do expect parents to follow the guidelines and the expectations of wearing the face mask, because of course that is a requirement for Beaumont ISD for students 4th grade on up, and all staff members. Students who are riding the bus, all students riding the bus will be required to wear a face mask or a face shield. So, you know, school, you know, will look different. But again, as we get closer to the possibility of students coming face to face, Parents have the option. If they are not comfortable sending their child to school face to face, we have our virtual platforms that will be available for students for the duration of the school year, or as long as COVID-19 is in place, occurring in our as long as we're dealing with it. So parents have that choice and they have that option. Our number one priority is to keep our students safe, our faculty safe, to keep our community safe. Therefore, the guidelines and the expectations that we put in place, we expect and demand that they be followed so that we keep everyone safe.
I'm here with you. That's the most important thing right now is for safe and health, and make sure that that we keep the kids safe and the faculty. That's very important. Now, I understand that the registration for school has been extended, correct?
Yes, for Beaumont ISD, of course, registration is extended indefinitely. We need to get our kids in. My last count last Friday was a little over 10,000 students had registered for school. So roughly 8,000 students we are looking for. So we are passing the word and spreading the word that school begins for all students virtually on August 17th. There's a misperception for parents, I think, that, oh, I won't register my student until it's time to come to school face to face. No, that's not the case. We need all of our students, 100% of our students, to register online right now and begin virtual instruction on August 17th. So we're looking for those parents. We have, again, roughly 8,000 students estimated who we're trying to identify and make certain that they get registered so they can start virtually actually in about a week.
Dr. Portier, do you have enough registration? Are you guys are registered already, or you're still open? Is it still open?
Well, of course it's open, and as we're not nowhere near Beaumont size, we have about 8,300 students, and about 7,000 have registered, which is a good thing. But now what we did, our registration stopped on July 31st. And we said we wanted the rest to continue, the remainder to continue to register, but we did give a choice, synchronous or face-to-face. And we have about 1,700 that have chosen face-to-face if and when we decide to come back. The remaining students who had not registered by July 31st register, but you're automatically will be virtual. They're not going to have a choice. You register, but you're not going to, you can't choose the face-to-face. If and when we decide to come back, only the 1,700 that have chosen face-to-face will be allowed. And that will give us a chance to practice. I think even at the high school, there are only about 300 students that have chosen face-to-face. And that's a good number to practice with. And along with that's 1,700 throughout the district. So we'll see, though, we may never see those students face to face either, depending on the numbers. But we're doing well with the registration. And that was a good, if anything that you want to say positive about registration, that was great, because we've never had that many to register, because it gave us an opportunity to update email addresses, phone numbers that we didn't have. So parents want to be contacted now. So yay, COVID, for giving us that opportunity. You got to think about the positive, and parents really have, and they want to be contacted. They want to keep the communication. So they've given us the true communication, the true email and phone number. So that's a good thing.
Dr. Allen, I saw you raise your hands up, so that's you all too, right?
Because Dr. Porter is preaching to the choir, because that's the same conversation I had with my team on Friday. Even though we are missing quite a few students who haven't registered, the good news is we do have accurate information on over 10,000 students.
Exactly.
Information that is not incorrect. I would share that of those who have registered in Beaumont ISD, 70% have overwhelmingly chosen virtual instruction. So of those 10,000, it is still, a very large percentage who are choosing that virtual platform to educate their students. And I know parents, they want to see what it's going to look like. They want to see what school is going to look like, and they're paying attention to what's happening, in our nation, in our community. And I understand, we truly understand. But that's where our data is leading right now.
And it's good to have virtual learning right now because we don't know what this virus going to do and how it spread. We don't have a clue. I don't. I'm not a doctor, but I know no one else knows. And by me saying that is that doing virtual online studying, schooling, do we have enough equipment for the kids? Are you using iPads? Are you using laptops? Do we have necessary Wi-Fi? Because some kids doesn't have Wi-Fi. What are they going to use? What devices they're going to use?
Well, for Beaumont ISD, we were the recipient last year of the T-Mobile Empowerment Grant that afforded us to purchase MiFi devices, which are portable Wi-Fi devices for every single student. So in Beaumont ISD, we have internet access for every single student and every parent if they choose to come and pick it up. Now they have to come to school and they have to come and pick it up. With the devices, we are committed to start out the school year, putting a device in the hands of every family. We have ordered over 9,500 devices. When this thing took off in the spring, we put in an order. We knew we needed to get more devices in the hands of our students. We put in an order because across the nation, everyone is ordering these devices. They've been on back order. So I have not received all of the devices that I've ordered. So to start off the school year, we're putting a MiFi device for every student in their hands and one device per family. And we are asking that families that actually have devices of their own, that they utilize those devices first. I anticipate we will be one-to-one by the end of the semester, where we will have distributed a device to every single child in Beaumont ISD. However, because of the circumstances, we purchased those devices. They're just not in yet. So to start off school, we're asking parents and families, if you have a device, use your device. If not, we're putting one in the hands of every family member. Now, these devices, these cell phones, I will say this is a device. You can access the learning. You can access everything with cell phones. Our kids have these devices. So these count as devices. So if you have a usable device to execute the learning, please, we're asking you to use your own device. As those devices come in, we will start deploying them to all students. But like I said, we purchased 9,500 devices to go along with the, I think, 7,000 that we already had in the district.
Dr. Porterie, report authors, you okay with your supplies?
So far, so good. We were able to order 4,000. That has come in, thank goodness, through T-Mobile. Plus, we had about 5,000. So we have enough devices today to put in the hands of every child. And we're going to start doing that on Thursday of this week. We have hotspots that we have ordered for the students. And now at the beginning during the summer, a lot of parents told us they did not have internet connection. Then when the registration occurred, then they said they did have internet. So we're trying to figure out which is it. We're using the Chromebooks because of the keyboard for the older students, because we know they have a lot of typing, a lot of papers to write, and the tablet for the touch screen for our younger students. So they will be getting a device. So there's no reason why they can't keep in contact with the teacher. We do have also Schoology. We've entered Schoology through Power School, and that is a learning management system. So all of our teachers have been trained and they're ready to go, and it's magnificent. So teachers will be able to teach. They will be students will be able to do their assignments. They'll be able to do their assessments, take assessments in Schoology. So we're going to know exactly what it is that they're doing. And then when you talk about trying to figure out, the main thing for us trying to figure out is attendance, because we definitely want to be funded for these kids. So that's going through the asynchronous and making sure they at least have some connectivity with teachers throughout the day. And so having a device for each one of them will give us an opportunity to do that. So far, so good.
Now, I understand those that are attending school, they're going to be attending school, twice? And that's in BISD. They're only going to be attending school twice a week.
So for our high school students only, let me clarify that. High school students, TEA guidance allows us, because those are our larger campuses. For us, Westbrook High School and Beaumont United High School both have over 2,000 students. So in order to maximize the opportunities for social distancing, high schools are allotted a hybrid model. So for Beaumont ISD, high school students will attend school 2 days a week in cohorts. 2 days a week, 1 week. The following week, that cohort will attend school 3 days a week. Our elementary and middle school students, however, if those parents choose face-to-face, it will be a 5-day-a-week option. It's only our high school students, Beaumont United and Westbrook, that will participate in that hybrid every other day model.
Well, I want to tell you this, and I'm not getting off the subject, but I want to tell you this. I had 3 of your board members on last Tuesday, and they was awesome, and they gave us a lot of information. And I wanted to make sure that I had you on again today, because I remember we talked. We were on the podcast back in 1st of April when all this coronavirus started, and we didn't know how we were going to finish the year out. Now we're going into another season. We're going to the fall season, and we still, in the air about a lot of other things. And again, I want you to make sure you emphasize, let people know, because your school board members really is behind you, and I commend them for their work, and they're sticking behind you, and you're doing a wonderful job. And I appreciate you, Dr. Allen, and I'm sure that they all appreciate you as well with your hard work. But again, I want to just break in and tell you that, Doc, I hadn't had your school boards on, Doctor.
Hey, I'm a die by calculated. That's okay. Child. That's okay.
I'm not gonna do that way. I'm gonna chase him down. I guess I'll chase him down. Hey, those who are watching, the viewers that want to make a comment, please comment in the comment box. Dr. Portier and Dr. Allen are here to answer those questions from the parents and the students and all those who are concerned, because we're going to a serious. We're about to step into a serious situation going back to school and how to operate, because this is the new norm for right now. I don't think it's going to get any better right now until we find a disease. I mean, I'm sorry, not a disease. I already have a disease, but a vaccine to cure this deal here. But one of the questions I've had for one of the guests, one of the viewers, said that with some schools who don't have nurses on campus, what are the campus guidelines, Dr. Porterie?
Well, all of our schools have nurses. And when there's a question, we've already said from parents or from staff members, we're referring those questions to our health professionals, because they are nurses. They're up to date on all of the latest information. We don't want to start saying things that we don't have a good handle on, because a lot of times when we say things is coming from the feelings, it's coming from our emotions and what we feel. But all of our campuses have health professionals on them, and we're referring those questions to them. And so, yes, but we do have nurses on every campus.
Okay, great. What about BISD?
So we have nurses, we have healthcare professionals on our campuses. We do have some of our smaller campuses who have a part-time nurse. Mm-hmm. And that may be where some of this question is stemming from. Currently, right now, we're evaluating all of our employees, all of our staff, and assessing the need. Right now, as I mentioned previously, 70% of our students are electing to participate virtually. So we're going to reassess and, of course, make adjustments as needed. But health and safety is paramount. We have just a few of our smaller campuses, our smaller enrollment campuses, that may not have a full-time nurse, but every single campus has access to a healthcare professional at least a portion, of that school day. So we'll make adjustments as is needed based upon the number of students that will actually be present on campus during the day.
But Dr. Allen, did I hear you say, or did I read that, or that if in the first 4 weeks we're going to be online, right?
Yes, sir. All students, we will be 100% online for the first 4 weeks of school. So that leads us to September 14th. And then contingent upon the number of cases and the positivity rate, that will possibly be extended for an additional 4 weeks. Our board recently approved at the last board meeting for us to apply for a waiver to extend that 4 weeks if necessary. So, during that second 4 weeks, we would have some students on campus, but it would be a limited number of students. So we're looking at, October the 12th, possibly, before we would have the majority of those students who elected for face-to-face to be present on campus.
All right. Okay. Now, I've got another viewer asking a question. But if a student, I'm thinking she's saying a student, but what if they are symptomatic though with no symptoms? Why not do online schools?
I mean, that's an excellent question, and I just want to make certain that our community understands we're doing what we're required to do by the Texas Education Agency in our state. Because honestly, if we had our choice based on what's happening right now, we wouldn't even open school right now. But we are doing what we are required to have a 5-day-a-week face-to-face option for elementary and middle school students. If a student is asymptomatic, I mean, that's a valid concern. Yes. That is a true and valid concern about asymptomatic students being on our campuses, possibly spreading COVID-19. I mean, it's a valid concern. So, parents, again, have that option for the online, that online component and that online piece if they choose. Dr. Porterie may have something to do.
No, I totally agree with you, Dr. Allen. We're doing what we have to do. We're trying to do it with common sense, with a common sense approach. And yes, and I guess we can tell you this as well. A parent has the option to have online classes this year. It's not going to stop even at the 4 or 8 weeks. When we decide if we're going to come back, we're going to take only those students who have chosen face-to-face. But if a parent elects to have their child online for the remainder of the school year, they can do that. And that's fine. We don't have a problem with it at all. And yes, that's why if a student comes or a staff member comes asymptomatic, that's why we are insisting on social distancing. That's why we insist on masks to help to flatten that curve and to help with that situation. But yes, we are doing everything we can within the law and common sense in order to try to get through this 2020-21 school year.
Well, Jerry Ball Jr. is asking, how can the general public help you guys if we don't have kids?
For us right now, a major thing is ensuring that, first of all, we find and get a handle on all of our students. So spreading the word about registration. I need the kids to be registered. Supporting our, we are obviously proud to order our devices from a different company than Dr. Porterie. He has all his devices in. So, if you know your family, I can provide support with the device. But really, I mean, it's that information piece, that information sharing piece, and really and truly encouraging people to make certain that we all do the right thing. I'm just being honest. We all need to do the right thing, and that's follow the rules so that everyone is 100% safe. But in Beaumont, spreading the word so we can get our kids registered and getting our kids supported with devices right now.
That's what we're doing now, spreading the word. Folks, if you're listening, you're watching, and please share this podcast with your friends, family, and neighbors and parents that that have kids in school so they can get the right information, because the doctors here are giving you important information on your kids that are going to be attending school or going to school online. So you'll know what's going on. No rumors are going on. You'll know exactly what's happening in school. So one thing I do have is the face mask. I know you say it was mandatory, but I think I want to make it. I want to get corrected here if I'm not mistaken. I heard that someone sent a message that the grades from 1 through 4th grade, 5th grade would not have to have masks. That's not true.
So the guidance says, 4th grade for us, we're following the guidance.
Right.
So, going through 4th grade will not have to wear a mask unless you're riding a bus. Everybody riding a bus, because we cannot social distance appropriately on the bus, will be required to wear a face mask regardless of what age level. But then 5th grade all the way up will be required to wear a face mask as part of the uniform dress code school supplies. We've been asked the question, would we be providing masks? We will not be providing masks for students on a daily basis. We have a supply of additional masks if something happens, if there's an emergency, but we do expect parents to provide students with those face coverings.
For us, and to lead into what Mr. Ball asks, how can the general public help? What the main thing is, just support what is happening. And if you have a question, just call. I tell you, there's some things that we read on Facebook that is so far from what we're doing, and it causes so ruckus that's unnecessary, and it becomes distractors for us. If you have a question, just call and ask, and stop spreading the rumors. That's, it really gets old. And a lot of it are just not just rumors, they're just plain lies. Just lies. So just help us with that. With Port Arthur, we're going to encourage everyone to wear a mask. I mean, we don't know what else to do. And we're asking, while your children are online, while we have the first 4 weeks, that you would practice with them and have them to wear the mask while they're online with the teacher, because we have to start practicing, because we know if they come, it's going to, and they've never worn a mask. And I'll say, some of my kids right here in Port Arthur, I see them. I don't know if they've ever put on a mask since March. But when you're online with students, with your teacher, we're asking parents to encourage their children to wear the mask while they're on, and that will help them to become accustomed to wearing the mask. We do have special ed students that have needs, with the shields. So we're going to try to help them with shields and to put those on as well. But we're seeing where we had a 7-year-old that caught COVID, and he was on the respirator. He's doing better now, but he was 7. So we're not, we don't want to say 4th grade. We're going to, if you're pre-K and you come back to the Port Arthur Independent School District, we're going to try to do something. We're going to put something. We're going to have to work with you to make it cute. We're going to put bunny ears on it or something. So we just want, because you know what? If people can say this, you hear about it I hear, right now we're at 160,000, and they're saying, well, with all of the people in America, that's not a large number. It's a large number if you're involved, if you have a family member, or if one of your children are a part of it. So one child, if they contact COVID, is too many if it's your child. So we need all of our children, all of our staff members to wear a mask. And that is what we are saying. We want them to wear a mask. And yes, you go wear one if you come here. So.
All right. Well, this is not a rumor. This is the facts.
No, there's no rumor. You wear a mask here in Port Arthur. If you come in here,
I want to make sure
you're doing at your house. And I'm encouraging you all, while you're online with the teacher, to wear a mask so you can get accustomed to it. But you're not going to walk in our doors if you don't have a mask on, because we want to live. We're trying to live.
That's right.
And if you wear a mask, it helps. And if I'm wearing one and you're wearing one, that helps us to live longer.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand the argument. I'm not going. We're not going to argue with you on that part. That's Absolutely. The way it is. So you either come or you stay at home.
Absolutely. Dr. Allen, Isaac Wendy's is asking, any updates on efforts to help the bilingual families struggling with registration in the BISD?
That's a great question. And, we have several of our bilingual team members who have actually been trying to work with our bilingual families who are struggling, with the system. We are working diligently to respond to the tickets. If there's a concern or an issue with registration, parents can submit a ticket, and we're going through with our team members to actually work through and help them through. But of course, the language barrier that's there has made it difficult, but we are committed to getting all of our families registered for the 2021 school year. So yes, we have been working with our bilingual team members to get as many folks as we can involved with answering and supporting our team members, our bilingual families, with getting them registered, because that has been a struggle. I heard something crazy that someone was actually charging some of our bilingual families money to register students, which is really ridiculous and outlandish. But I will say that, we have had over 10,000 students to actually get registered. So the system does work, because obviously so many of our families have actually utilized it and been able to get their students registered for next school year.
That's great. That was a good question. I've got Kathy. Let's see, Kathy Wingate is going to ask a question here. So online, is it like being on Zoom, where the students can actually see their teacher?
So I will say in Beaumont ISD, the virtual learning platform will be a little bit of synchronous and asynchronous. Teachers will be required to connect with students several times a week on Zoom, but students will also have time throughout the course of the day and the week where will be working asynchronously, where they will be watching videos that teachers have posted, where they will access the assignments that the teachers have posted in their classrooms. So it's going to be a little of both. It's not going to be every single day, all day long that teacher and student are going to be connected via Zoom, if that makes any sense. There's going to be scheduled time several times a week where that teacher will be required to check in via Zoom with the students.
Speaking of Zoom, Ms. Thomas is asking Dr. Allen, will there be a Zoom meeting for meeting teachers?
Yes, I mean, we're in the plans now, knowing our elementary campuses, of setting up Meet the Teacher via Zoom meeting. So those will be set up on each individual campus, so parents will have an opportunity to meet with the teachers. That's an excellent question.
Yeah, well, if so, when will that be?
That will be coming up soon. I don't have the actual dates, but we'll make certain that we get those posted and communicated to our parents so that they can know when to connect. But we do want to have that opportunity because parents need to understand the system and be able to meet the teachers.
All right. Now, but for both superintendents, let me ask this question here. It's coming from Terry Wilson. Are there any studies of the effects of lack of social contact for the students who are virtual learners?
Oh, yes, there are. There's, in Port Arthur, I will say, we've always dealt where we're trying to deal now with the mental aspect of it all. We were still going through a lot from Harvey that we still had not gotten over. And now students have been separated. And, I'll tell you this, dealing with, and I really don't want to get in this because this is a big conversation about athletics, will we have football? But I'm going to say this, yes, academics is so important. And yes, it's first and foremost. But I have learned that athletics is equally as important for a lot of our youngsters. I've passed by the football field and I've seen them just sitting there because this is not their normal routine. Usually they're on two-a-days, they're getting ready for football season, and they really look lost. So we have to do something in order to keep the contact moving, the engagement with our students. We have to do it. We have to make a huge effort in order to make sure that we're staying in contact with our students. I know one question was would the students be able to see the teachers? And for us with Schoology, they will be able to talk to their teacher face to face, along with seeing everyone else on the screen. So they're going to have some type of contact in order to get through this. We're not an island, and we are our brother's keeper, as I said earlier. So yes, the more contact we have, and we have to keep up with, even with feeding, we haven't talked about that, but our transportation and our child nutrition departments are working together. We're still going out and making sure that our children are going to be able to eat. We have to feed them breakfast and lunch. So we're making that effort as well. I teased the child nutrition director. I said, when we were coming up many, many years ago, we heard the ice cream man coming with music on the van. So we're thinking about putting some type of musical instrument on the bus so kids will know when we're coming through their neighborhood in order for them to be able to eat. Because there are a lot of students, and people really don't think about that, they only eat when they come to school. And when they're at home, it's let's try to find something. So we have to keep that nourishment going for our students, and it's a big part of it. So yes, we have to keep in contact. We have to be able to touch them on the head and give them high five. They have to know that we're engaged with them at all times.
Dr. Allen, I'm coming back to you again. Let me go here. There we go. Question from, I guess, yes, Bernie Menard. He's asking, is BISD planning on getting um, more custodians to sanitize buildings and buses, one in-person learning again, in-person learning again?
That's a great question. And I will answer the question this way. We are committed to assessing the needs of our district and our during this time. So if there is a need for more, we will get more. But the problem I have right now is that I don't have the current vacancies filled. If I were fully staffed, then I'd say, okay, we may need to go ahead and make the decision to add additional team members to our custodial staff. Right now, we have significant vacancies in our custodial department. So we're not at a place where we are fully staffed to even be able to accurately assess whether or not we need to add additional team members. So, if individuals who are looking for a job, I mean, we have jobs. I don't know about Port Arthur, but I think I'm speaking for Port Arthur when I say that there are jobs and opportunities to work. Custodians, I have several child nutrition vacancies, many child nutrition vacancies, many vacancies in the district. Teachers, however, I'm doing really well on teachers compared to previous years. We're actually up 3% with our teaching vacancies. But bus drivers, custodial staff, child nutrition workers, we have plenty of opportunities for individuals if they want to work. So again, in response to that question, I'm willing to do what we need to do, but until I'm actually fully staffed, I really cannot assess that, to say if I actually need more when I don't even have the current positions filled right now.
What is your case in Port Arthur, Dr.
The same thing. I agree 150% with Dr. Allen. For some reason, people do not want to be custodians. And it is a wonderful job. And I'm going to say this, if people who are sitting at home doing nothing, you can come and work in the Beaumont Independent School District or the Port Arthur Independent School District. You can get health care, you can get a retirement, and you can make an honest living. And I don't know, we heard that so much when I was younger, make an honest living, work hard. And if you're a custodian, be the best custodian. We need custodians as well, but we want people to come and we want them to have, we want them to own their school, own their department. If they see a piece of paper on the floor, pick it up when they walk by. Don't just walk over it, pick it up. And that's everyone. We want the students and the teachers, everyone to do that. But we need custodians as well. But we want custodians to own their schools, and we want them to be able to come in and work. And I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful job because, as I said, you get a defined retirement at the end. You get health benefits. You get sick time. You get vacation time, and you get the pride of earning a check, working for and earning a check. And we want our parents from our school. Hey, come, at least your children will see you get up in the morning and go to work and say, hey, my mom, my dad works. They have a job, and it's going to, hey, it trickles down because work ethic, hey, is something that we're trying to teach now. And that once upon a time, that wasn't a challenge because our parents did work and they worked hard. And it didn't matter if they were a custodian, a bus driver, a refinery worker, they worked. And that's what we want. We want people who want to come to work, not just say they need a job and come and you can't find them. So
that is awesome answer there. And that people, we understand that's opening, that's job opening in both districts. I mean, don't sit at home and wait on that unemployment. It's time to go to work with benefits.
Exactly.
It's not going to last long. So you see that food. I mean, I'm about to say something crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the truth because I'm saying, yes, they were earning, I guess, $600 a week on unemployment, but people who, and I have nothing against that now, by no means, but you were relying on someone who had the power to stop it at any time.
Right.
If you have a job in the Beaumont Independent School District or Port Arthur Independent School District, you're going to receive a check. We pay every 15th and 30th, 15th of the month, 30th of the month, last day of the month. So you wouldn't have to rely on someone cutting your unemployment check off. you would have a check every 15th and 30th, and you would feel good about getting up in the morning and coming and working and helping to educate students. Because I'm telling you, people can say what they want about custodians. They're the heroes. Because if a teacher walks in her room and the garbage can has not been emptied, you hear it all across the district. You're yelling and screaming, or if the desk haven't been wiped off, or if the floors haven't been swept, you hear it. So they are the heroes and the sheroes of this district. And without them, we could not make it. We could not make it without custodials, the transportation workers, the maintenance workers. Because you let the air condition stop running, you'll see how many calls the maintenance department receives trying to get the air back on. So yes, I mean, we need people. We need them. We need them right now, tomorrow. Apply tomorrow.
Apply. Yes, the jobs are there.
Well, as I said, don't come here talking about I want to work, and then you don't want to be on time, and you don't want to stay late, because we want people to come to work, and you work until the job is done. Not, oh, it's 4 o'clock, I'm going home. If the work is not done, you need to stay. Old way, old day. It's just the way it is.
But we don't have a shortage. We do have a shortage of teachers as well, right?
We have a shortage of teachers, but as Dr. Allen said, we're good right now.
We're much better with teachers. Honestly,
exactly.
We've been in the past several years.
Really?
I'm down.
Oh, yes, exactly.
That I've had, I could tell you, in 5 years in BISD starting off the school year. But I don't have child nutrition workers. I don't have transportation bus drivers. I don't have maintenance, custodial operations workers. So, I mean, this thing is, it's in a cycle right now. But everything Dr. Porterie said, I agree 110%. We need people who want to work, who want to buy into the vision and recognize. I mean, they're helping fulfill the mission and vision of Port Arthur ISD and Beaumont ISD by coming in, working in these schools, in these capacities, because it's needed. We can't operate our schools. We can't operate. If I can't get the children to school, I need bus drivers. We have to change all kind of things if we can't get people to drive our kids and bring our kids to school every day. I mean, it's critical.
Exactly. And I'm going to pick it back off of something Dr. Allen said, and I'm going to say this as well. For right now, we're not picking up students and with paraprofessionals and some of our other areas. They're saying, well, what are we going to do? And all of this stuff. You know what? Money is tight in Port Arthur. I'm not sure about Beaumont, but in Port Arthur, money is tight, and we're in budget season. Everyone in Beaumont and Port Arthur should want the district to understand how important their job is. And you should come to work and make sure we know that you are an essential part to making sure this year works. Because if you're telling me that you don't know what you're going to do, and you may have to sit on your hands and do nothing, why you can't stay home, then I may say, okay, maybe you need to stay home. You need to make sure we know that you are essential. I don't care if you're a custodian, a paraprofessional, a child nutrition worker. Every job is important and every job is essential. And you, as in that position, need to make us all understand that and justify why you're here.
Well, great. Since we're talking about jobs, so the audience is going to want to know: is that in a pay increase, or that is a minimum, or what? I put you on the spot that time.
You can live it. Go ahead, Dr. Allen. I'm sorry.
I mean, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing. Port Arthur is in a different situation than Beaumont ISD with several of their jobs, because Dr. Porterie passed, his TRE, so he was able to get extra money to fund his budget. We have not been able to do that. We gave a significant raise last year under HB3. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I do recognize, because we hadn't given raises in Beaumont ISD for several years, it takes time to actually make up that. And we see it across the board. And we've been strategic and, added more money to certain departments. Everyone received a raise last year. And we're continuing to look. But as Dr. Porterie stated, we know right now that we're going to be pretty good next year financially in 2021. is 21, 22, where we know across our state that we're going to see budget cuts, and I suspect that we're going to have to make tough decisions and tough choices. So it goes back to what Dr. Porterie stated about, making certain that you are essential, that you're doing your best work every single day. You bring your A game every single day and doing your best for your kids and doing your best. I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but I believe you'll be blessed for that. Number one,
Exactly.
for doing the right thing and for doing the job that you are paid to do. We're all getting paid. No one is coming for free except for the volunteers. But everybody else that's coming to Port Arthur ISD or Beaumont ISD on a daily basis, they're getting a salary and they're expected to do and execute a job. And we want to pay more. I know I certainly want to pay more. And I'm praying and believing that things will work out in such a way that we'll be able to do that. But right now, the salary is what the salary is. And we're looking for individuals who will commit to doing the job, executing the duties for the salary that's there.
Correct. And let me say something else here. We did have a TRE, but our government, they cut it and they took it back. So it went from $1.17 back down to $1.06.
Mm-hmm.
So we were, so hey, we're doing the very best that we can as well.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they're making it so hard to even get. I don't even think you can't even get to $1.17 anymore. So, but we're still paying our people. And yes, everyone wants a raise. We all want raises. But I tell you one thing, and I'm going to speak for BISD and Port Arthur together on this one. I bet you, since March the 16th, or when the schools closed, I bet you not one person missed a check in the BISD or the PAISD.
Didn't miss a check.
Didn't miss one check.
Check.
Every 15th and 30th, their check was deposited in their account. And we didn't say, well, and I'll tell you, we could have cut some. We could have said no, even cafeteria workers, because cafeteria workers are funded through how many students they feed. And we did not have all of that. So, but not one individual. So they stayed home from March until now, and they did not miss one paycheck.
With abbreviated work responsibilities. I know in Beaumont ISD, we had abbreviated work responsibilities. Work responsibilities were different and not the same expectations as was prior to March 13th. And guess what? Everyone received a paycheck. Mm-hmm. We didn't miss a pay period or a payday. Not at all.
Exactly.
And that's something that I would hope that our employees are appreciative of. That's a big deal when you look across our nation and the fact that businesses are closing, people are being laid off, and in the school districts, this is a great time to work in the school district.
Yes, it is.
We're so fortunate that we were able to continue to pay our employees. Just think how much worse, whatever you're going through, how much worse your situation would be if you didn't get your paycheck.
Exactly.
I really want people to think about that, because we get into the habit of complaining and griping, and seeing a lot of negativity or spewing a lot of negativity without really taking a minute and stepping back and thinking, you know what? I did get paid. I didn't miss a paycheck.
Not one.
Not one. We didn't miss one pay period, for any employees. So, and I'm thankful and so glad that we were able to do that.
Do it. Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
And I'm sure they appreciate it. Sometimes we have to look at and think about what the world is going through and what and our situation.
Exactly.
So that was quite a few furloughs around here. So and layoffs, and they don't know if they got a job coming back again. So that was an excellent deal you guys done. And hey, I'll be grateful as well. I've got a couple of more questions here. This is one I kind of really want to talk about. I asked the question to Deborah Jones. You took my question out of my mouth, but will there be online tutoring for struggling students?
Yes, we will have tutoring for struggling students as well. We're going to do everything we can to get our students where they need to be. Remember, I even hate to even say this, but our governor has said we're still going to have the test. The STAR test is still going to be administered. Not that that's why we work, that's why we teach or instruct, but yes, So yes, we are going to have online tutorials for struggling students. Yes, we will throughout the year.
Same for Beaumont ISD as well. Yes.
Now this is going to count, or it's just they're just going to have to be. You are going to just administrate this.
I mean, right now it's counting. Right now, our understanding is that all students will participate in the State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness, or the STAR test, at the conclusion of or at the required time during this school year, and that it does count. So, we're committed to, regardless of the test. We didn't
Exactly.
make this business about a test. We're in this business because we want to see students succeed. We want to see students reach, their highest potential. Forget about the test, and the tutoring, that doesn't have anything to do with the test, as Dr. Porterie stated. It's the right thing to do. We know that our kids are going to struggle, so we're going to be prepared to provide them as much support as we possibly can throughout this pandemic until we are at a point where, there's a vaccine and we can all come back 100%, face to face.
And and I'm going to say this: this is a time for parents to be supportive in making sure and asking those questions. How well did you do today online? Or what did your teacher teach today? Do you have homework? They need to ask those questions when they get home in the afternoon to make sure that students didn't skip their online lesson. So parents, since March, they understand what teachers go through now. So they understand the importance even more so now than before. So we definitely need their help in encouraging our students to do their best.
That's going to be very important. The parents is going to be more important in this deal than the teachers. They're going to have to follow up, just like they was attending school.
Correct.
So parents, we need your help. The superintendents need your help. The teachers need your help to make sure you're following up with your kids at school. I'm going to move on to this. We got one more question I'm going to ask, and this going to the sports. And Robert Payne is asking, how will BISD handle all sporting events? And will fans be allowed to attend?
We are following the UIL guidelines and guidance. And I can tell you that right now, currently, the guidelines state that participation by fans will be limited. We're not going to be able to have a full arena full of patrons for a football game once the season begins officially. So we're actually in the process now of trying to determine, I think it's about, and Dr. Porterie, you may know more than me on this, but I think maybe 50% capacity of your facility for your sporting events will be allowed. So we're in the process now of determining, well, who that 50% will be. The players, parents, if it's the football team, the band, the cheerleaders, drill team, how many those parents will be allowed to actually see their kids participate. But we're also in the process of getting, like football, for example, online or on TV, so parents can see it live, so they won't necessarily have to go out and be there. But currently, I know the seasons have been pushed back, the start dates have been pushed back, but right now we anticipate that we're still going to have the sports. Now, I'll tell you, as we have engaged in summer workouts, it's been a struggle because kids have been getting COVID-19, and we have had to, follow the protocols, of course, but we've had to stop workouts. Students have had to isolate. It's been a struggle, and I don't know how it's actually going to look or how it's actually going to be able to happen, really, with the way our cases are right now. That's just my own observation, but the guidelines that exist currently state that yes, we will have sports, but of course the participation by the public, it will be limited.
Yeah, and Dr. Allen, you're correct. And my understanding is basically what you said, 50%. The last I heard, there was a conversation as to whether it was 50% of the entire stadium or 50% of the home side, 50% of the visitor side. As you know, home side is always larger than the visitor side. And then the number is going to impact, the number will be counted for the drill team, the band, all of those. So there are no passes. You're not going to have any passes that we give out. We used to give out passes, free passes, none of that. You're going to have to purchase a ticket, and a lot of it is going to be online. Parents are going to have to go online to purchase these tickets. So it's going to be a different, but as Dr. Allen said, we've been having calls one behind the other one to try to get live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
People want to make money, because if you go live streaming, then they want to make money on the school district. But of course, if we can do it ourselves, we're going to do it ourselves. Because why would we want somebody else to make money off of us and we don't get any of it? That doesn't make much sense to me. So we're going to try to figure out how to do this. But it's going to be a different year this coming school year.
If you two school district need the help in those online streaming, text me or email me, and then I can give you guys some help there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Charlotte Wilson is asking a question here. How can nonprofit community service organizations help the districts, and what is needed if so?
For Port Arthur, and I'll just give you my stance on that. We need support, but right now we just need people to just calm down. We're not allowing anyone in our schools right now, not parents at this time. So we're trying to figure this out. We definitely appreciate the offer of our nonprofit organizations coming and helping us, but we have to get our own heads around this and try to figure out what we can and cannot do. So to have someone in right now, and please don't take this the wrong way. By no means am I saying it in trying to say it in the wrong way. But sometimes when people come in, it becomes more of a problem than it is a help, because then we have to figure out what we're going to do with those individuals. Yes, at some point we're going to need some help, but we have to figure out what type of help and how we can utilize the community organizations to help us. It's just really, really tough right now when we have to think of lives and think of health. So right now we're just trying to get our staff together and get everyone on the same page, help our students to understand what's going on. Then we can incorporate the community service organization. And I'm not speaking for Beaumont this time, but I know that's just how I feel in Port Arthur.
And just to piggyback off of what Dr. Porterie said, and everything he stated is true. The biggest thing right now is the actual support, verbal support. Just saying, hey, right now people are so anxious, people are so agitated, and we understand, but they're also so critical of the school districts and what we're doing, not really understanding that we're all, like Dr. Porterie just stated, we're figuring this thing out. We're all in the same boat. We're all figuring this thing out. We are in the position because we love children, and we're going to do our very best for the children in our school districts. But the number one thing right now is to support the decisions that we make. And verbally, be vocal about your support of our school districts, because that makes a significant difference and a significant impact. Because I think earlier in the conversation, it was mentioned about, some of the misinformation and some of the negativity and the feedback that's put out on social media and the false information, and how people feed into that and how it does hurt us. But vocal support, ongoing, continuous support of the decisions that we are making right now is probably one of the best things that our community organizations can really do to support us, because these organizations, you have big names, you have a lot of influence. So when you use your name and your influence and you are backing and supporting the decisions of the Beaumont Independent School District and the Port Arthur Independent School District, that is tremendous. That is a tremendous support and a tremendous help. And that's what we need right now. In a few weeks, as we continue to get this thing figured out and see what school is actually going to look like, and once we have all of our systems in place, then we'll start engaging in some different work or a deeper level of work with some of our nonprofits and community organizations to help support us.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. And that's very important what you just said about that. John Eugene asked us, will there be opportunity to conduct online mentoring, such as the program the 100 Black Men had at MLK Middle School?
I would imagine, Mr. Eugene, that would still be the case. But again, we want to get everything started. We want to kickstart school on August 17th, get all of our systems in place, get our kids. I need to get my kids first. I need to identify these additional 8,000 kids that I'm missing in Beaumont ISD first. Once we get all of that going, I think that will be an awesome opportunity for online mentoring and to connect our kids with some of the programs. But we want to get everything kicked off and started and systems put in place first.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Great question.
thank you again. Thank you, everybody. And let me get us back on the screen here again. Dr. Porterie, you said that your teachers already have attended school already, right? They've already
Yes, they've been here since Wednesday.
Do you have any good words you want to lay on them before we get out of here today?
You know what? Our teachers are wonderful. As I say, they're heroes as well. Our custodial staff. I mean, our teachers are back. I visited some of the schools, and they were moving furniture and talking and with their mask on. And it was like old times. So they are wonderful, and I'm just happy to see them back. They're going to do a good job. That's what teachers do. Some are a little apprehensive, but I'm confident that once they get back in the classroom, once they see those kids on the screen, they're going to become more just comfortable with the action, and that's what we need. I mean, educators, we've always overcome. That's what we do. We've always had to struggle. We've always overcome. So we're okay. Education is the most important career of any career. I don't care what you've done. I don't care if you're an engineer, a doctor, or a train master. You went through a teacher. You had to have. You couldn't be a doctor or an engineer if you weren't taught. So education is the most important career there is. And we've always made it work. And that's what happens when people say, well, how are you going to do that? The thing we say, we're going to make it work. And we do. We just put magic out there and it works. So that's what we're going to do this time. You know what? COVID is nothing. When teachers and educators start working, because we know sometimes when they get in our ear and start hollering and screaming, so I know when teachers are just wonderful. And they're okay. They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay.
They will. And you got the best two superintendents around right now. Hey, listen, it was something personal I wanted to ask, and so I'm gonna leave it to Dr. Allen to give us any last words before I can collect what I was about to say.
I just want to say, Mr. Renfro, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate, and I know Dr. Porterie, we both appreciate the opportunity to share information, and I hope that we have many listeners today who, first of all, I hope you understand and that you hear we are passionate about the work that we do. This is a calling, this is a mission. And the work that we do is critical. We understand the importance of what we do, and we don't take it for granted, and we don't take the work lightly. Continue to grant us grace right now. That is very important, that we are granted the grace, and the understanding by our community and the support by our community as we engage in, uncharted waters and uncharted territory that no one else has ever dealt with before. It's massive work. Let me just say this. What we have done since March, massive work, 24-hour-a-day work, no sleep at night. My hair is black right now, but yesterday it was gray. Okay, I went and I had my hair colored because it was just ridiculous, but it is gray, and it's a lot of sleepless nights, trying to figure out and trying to make the best decision, but we're committed to doing our absolute best for the children, in Beaumont, Texas, and in Port Arthur, Texas. And, I'm just imploring, both communities, for the support, for the diligence in learning what you need to learn to support us in doing what you need to do. Everybody has a part. It's not just Beaumont ISD and Port Arthur ISD and the leadership and the teachers. Everybody in the community has a part in this and has a responsibility. If it's nothing other than wearing the mask when you're supposed to wear the mask. and saying positive things and speaking positive things, about the school districts, about the community. But again, thank you for this opportunity. I think the time has been well spent and lots of good information and great questions have come from the community. So I thank them for their participation.
Yes, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Dr. Allen and Dr. Porter. It's been great to have you back again. And of course, whenever I ask for you, you come right on and answer the call and back on the screen with me. But I want to also make sure that the audience know and the viewers know everywhere that these are facts. And I've got the facts people here. They're giving you the facts. This is not rumors. This is not what you hear say. This is what's going on. So those questions you asked very good questions, but we want to make sure you get the facts, the truth. So when you hear a rumor, stop it in its tracks. This is what this podcast is for. This platform is for the community. So we can give you viable information that you need to have and know. And everyone is telling you guys, and I can't go too far, and I'm just trying to stretch the screen here. Everybody want to wish you well. They appreciate you so much for your leadership that's coming from Donna Ray Frank, and prayers are with you. And Deborah Jones is saying blessing to Bay ISD and Port Arthur Independent School District. And Mrs. Pamela Bird is saying we appreciate you both for doing very well. And Judy Williams has said very informative, and thank you all. God bless you for 2020-21 school year. And again, I want to thank you and my friend Jerry Ball again, saying he love you guys and hope the kids be well and everything goes well with everybody. And I want to wish you the best of the school years. And okay, Mrs. Castile said, shout out to the Beaumont Independent School District. First week under the belt. Good job, positive week. And I just can go on and on and on, but we've been here a little bit over our time, and I want to thank you so much for joining me here on Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. But I want to remind the audience on Tuesday evening, I'm going to have two of my distinguished guests, Dr. Deborah Williams with the National Association of University Women will be joining us Tuesday, and along with Bobby Patterson with the 100 plus Black women of Beaumont going to be with us on Tuesday. So please join us at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Again, thank you, superintendents. We're going to make this thing go, and we're going to win it all. Okay. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you.